moment and address this idea of racial supremacy that is dominating what is happening in our country, and to speak to the people out there who may have those types of ideas. I mean, to me, what I see, I look and I see America. I don't see so much of a white supremacy problem. I can understand from how some people's perspective, they see that as completely different, man. I can see how other people see that completely differently. Because I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I learned is that as a human being and the choices that I've made in my own life, what I've learned is that as a human being, it's still pretty much a complete waste of my time to sit back and become angry because of history. That doesn't really do me any good. It doesn't serve me in any way. And it doesn't really serve the people around me either. And the people who rationalize, well, there should be this social justice. Well, yeah, the people around you will compromise, but they're not going to pay with their lives. They're not going to do that. Not for being men, and not for being white. White supremacy is really about racial compositions. What do you really believe as a human being? And the question, it's just, you really simply have to ask yourself a question and answer that question. And this is how you determine whether you're a white supremacist. Do you believe? I gotta turn this monitor off. When it comes to addressing white supremacy, the question is, do you believe that our society is better off with certain racial compositions? Now, that really hasn't been my perspective in this life, and I haven't met a whole lot of people who've actually believed that. Once in a while, I've met people. I met this guy at a rest area once. I've met certain people who are just kind of, who have those kind of beliefs, and to me, they're scary and off-putting, and I don't like that. I have a whole different set of situation myself. In my own history, I've dated other races, and I have mixed kids, and I've traveled around to a lot of different cultures and seen a lot of different people and interacted in a lot of different ways. I decided moving on with my life that if I were to have a family, I would have African American children. And the reason why I would have African American children is in order to protect them in the future, and to ensure that they were safe, because human beings are largely unconscious, and they tend to attack what they see. And I want my children to be safe from design from the very beginning, because I'm a loving father. So, I have maybe different perspectives on all of that than other people do. I'm just saying, one thing's for sure, I'm not a white supremacist. The thing is that there's a lot of people out there I know that don't have that same type of history. That doesn't mean they don't feel that way. That doesn't mean that it's ever weird that there's a black man with a white woman. And let me say, that works both ways. Us white guys, we like darker skinned women too. It's not just that's not just a one thing or another. That's a biological thing. It's not just one way or another. So the question is, do you really believe our society is better off as a white society? I guess how I look at that, and my own perspective is that's just up to the women around us. They're going to decide that themselves. That's a matter of sexual freedom. And there's really nothing that trumps that. And that's really a matter of women's rights more than it is anything else. That's up to them, man. It's not up to any certain people to decide what that should be, one way or another. I mean, to me, the whole white supremacy argument is a projection of fear and an expression of pain and resentment. I mean, we can work together as a people and we can compromise, but we're definitely not going to lay our lives down on the line because you're pissed off. Chill out on the reading, man, and maybe do something a little different for a while. You'll feel better. You can talk to your therapist about that. That's what us white guys are told all the time. Go talk to your therapist. How about you go talk to your therapist too? You know. So, I just to simplify that question for a lot of people, because that is what it comes down to. It comes down to believing. Do you believe our society is better off with certain racial compositions? And to me, and the vast majority of people I know, they don't really have any objections to any other interracial relationships around them for whatever reasons. We're all pretty accepting of that. I mean, maybe that's one of those things. If you disagree, with interracial relationships, maybe that's something that makes a person a terrorist. I don't know. I don't know how to define these things, because I'd say there's a lot of people who've been telling me that I'm bad and I'm wrong, and that I should be excluded just because I wanted to go a different route with my sexuality, which led to interracial children. And that's unfortunate, It really is. So that's just what I had to say as far as the whole white supremacy argument is concerned. I'm going to tell you straight up. My family is proud Vikings. And we come from Norway. My people are strong. They're from Germany, too. And White Russia. I'm from a strong people. The people who've survived and made it to here. And I never did that with slaves in my lineage. In fact, my people fought against the Civil War to emancipate the slaves. And then there's this. I'm proud of who I am as a human being, as we all should be. There's no reason for people to have self-hatred. It's not necessary, and it's un-American.